Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel where we bring you the latest and most intense updates about Sheikh Hamdan and his family. I will date, I have ando date, I tam, I have lores, I have ando. If you are new here and haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe now and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss any important update. I have the news to me. In my last video, my crazy future wife, the first time he heard the words, "Love is not love," they were not spoken by a poet or written in a book. They came from the quiet voice inside him as he stood alone on the balcony of his palace, watching Dubai glow beneath the night sky like 1,000 scattered stars, the city breathing softly, while his heart carried a silence too heavy for celebration, too deep for applause, too vast for the crown he wore every day. Fazza had everything the world admired: power, respect, endless horizons of luxury and honor. Yet love had always felt like a fragile illusion to him. Something beautiful from a distance, but painfully sharp when touched too closely, like desert glass that glitters under sunlight but cuts the skin when held without caution. He had loved once before with the reckless innocence of a man who believed forever was guaranteed simply because his heart wished it so. That love had been intense, consuming, intoxicating like the first rain after a long drought, promising rebirth and joy and endless warmth, until slowly it turned into a storm that washed away his certainty, his trust, and his belief in promises. When it ended, it did not end loudly with drama or public scandal. It ended quietly, like a candle burning itself into darkness, leaving behind the smoke of unanswered questions and a loneliness that echoed in every corner of his soul. From that day, Fazza convinced himself that love was merely a beautiful lie people tell themselves to survive the emptiness of life. Years passed and responsibilities grew heavier. Meetings filled his days, ceremonies filled his nights, and smiles became part of the uniform he wore for the world. Inside, however, his heart remained guarded like a fortress, with walls built from disappointment and silent wounds. He often wondered whether love was truly meant for men like him, men born into duty rather than freedom, men whose hearts belonged not only to themselves but to an entire nation watching their every step. It was on an ordinary evening, one of those nights when the wind carried the scent of the sea and the sky leaned closer to the earth, that everything shifted without warning. He had gone to a quiet cultural gathering, away from cameras and formality, seeking nothing more than a moment of anonymity among strangers who did not bow or whisper his name. Music floated softly through the air, not loud enough to demand attention, but gentle enough to stir memories buried deep within the heart. That was when he saw her. She was not standing in the center of attention, not surrounded by admirers, not dressed to command the room. She stood near a window, holding a small book close to her chest, as if it were a living thing, her eyes moving slowly across the city lights outside, her expression carrying a calm that felt rare in a world always rushing forward. There was something in the way she existed within her own silence that unsettled him, as if her presence gently challenged the noise inside his mind. For reasons he could not explain, his feet moved toward her before his thoughts could catch up. He introduced himself simply, without titles or formality. Just a man meeting a woman beneath the quiet hum of music and murmured conversations. She smiled, not the polite smile people often offered him, but a genuine one that reached her eyes and lingered naturally like sunlight resting on water. They spoke about small things at first, about books, about how cities look different when viewed from high places, about how silence can sometimes speak louder than crowds. Her voice carried a softness that did not beg for attention, but commanded it effortlessly. Fazza felt something unfamiliar stirring within him, not excitement, not desire, but a sense of recognition, as if his heart had quietly known her long before his eyes ever did. As the evening unfolded, time seemed to stretch and bend around their conversation, moments slipping by unnoticed. He found himself listening more than speaking, absorbing the way she described life not as a race, but as a collection of moments meant to be felt deeply rather than conquered quickly. She spoke of love not as possession or perfection, but as patience, presence, and courage to remain when leaving would be easier. Her words echoed inside him long after they parted that night. In the days that followed, Fazza tried to dismiss the memory as a passing encounter, a brief emotional ripple that would soon fade beneath the waves of responsibility. Yet her presence lingered in unexpected ways, in the pauses between meetings, in the quiet moments before sleep, in the way the sunrise seemed slightly warmer than before. Breathe deeply. Heart steady, strong. Eyes calm, focused. Spirit peaceful, glowing. Memories flash gently. Childhood dreams awaken. Promises whispered inward. Honor guided choices. Strength carried humility. Grace shaped presence. Love anchored destiny. Audience watched reverently. Silence felt sacred. Energy vibrated softly. Air shimmered golden. Light kissed crowns. Camera flashes sparkled. Moments became legends. Stories wrote themselves. Fate smiled knowingly. Hands folded prayerfully. Eyes closed briefly. Soul thanked heavens. Courage flowed inward. Peace wrapped heart. Confidence rose gracefully. Smile warmed atmosphere. Warmth spread outward. Hope ignited everywhere. Love answered silently. Steps moved forward. Future opened brightly. Dreams aligned perfectly. Faith strengthened spirit. Purpose guided motion. Crowds leaned closer. Breaths synchronized softly. Time slowed gently. World faded briefly. Only love remained. Only destiny remained. Only light remained. Only peace remained. Only truth remained. Music softened air. Hearts matched rhythm. Energy pulsed unity. Eyes shimmered wonder. Smiles mirrored joy. Tears reflected gratitude. Souls embraced destiny. Moment felt eternal. Memory etched forever. Story breathed softly. History bowed respectfully. Legends awakened again. Royal chapter opened. Golden ink flowing. Pages turned silently. Readers unseen waiting. World listening closely. Whispers crossed borders. Screens lit globally. Voices shared amazement. Hearts united worldwide. Cultures blended harmoniously. Love spoke languages. Hope crossed oceans. Dreams traveled skies. Faith strengthened humanity. Kindness echoed globally. Unity felt stronger. Peace felt nearer. Light felt warmer. Future felt brighter. Fazza walked forward. Path glowing destiny. Courage shining gently. Smile steady calm. Eyes reflecting gratitude. Hands steady poised. Spirit calm grounded. Soul peaceful, luminous. Steps confident, graceful. Presence commanding humility. Royal yet human. Strong yet gentle. Power wrapped kindness. Honor wrapped patience. Wisdom guided actions. Love anchored purpose. Crowds whispered prayers. Children dreamed kings. Young hearts inspired. Old hearts comforted. Nations watched reverently. History smiled softly. Time recorded moment. Stars blinked approval. Moon guarded blessings. Sky showered peace. Winds carried songs. Desert embraced echoes. Palace absorbed memory. Walls remembered footsteps. Lights preserved shadows. Silence kept secrets. Love kept promises. Destiny kept direction. Faith kept balance. Hope kept rising. Joy kept flowing. Peace kept growing. Future kept unfolding. Golden air shimmered. Crowds breathed reverence. Dreams floated upward. Anticipation wrapped silence. Hearts leaned forward. Eyes reflected wonder. Souls touched destiny. Hope traveled softly. Light kissed smiles. Joy warmed spirits. Faith strengthened courage. Peace steadied pulses. Love whispered patience. Time honored moments. History inhaled magic. Legends stirred gently. Royal steps echoed. Marble sang softly. Silk brushed air. Jewels caught sunshine. Crowns mirrored stars. Eyes sparkled awe. Hands trembled gratitude. Tears glistened joy. Smiles bloomed endlessly. Voices hushed reverence. Breath synchronized hope. Energy pulsed harmony. Air tasted sweetness. Flowers breathed perfume. Petals floated blessings. Pathway glowed gold. Footsteps carried promise. Future unfolded quietly. Destiny aligned perfectly. Hearts trusted timing. Souls welcomed change. Faith embraced tomorrow. Love softened fears. Courage strengthened vows. Honor guarded choices. Wisdom guided hearts. Unity wrapped nations. Borders melted gently. Languages spoke silence. Eyes shared emotion. Hands shared prayer. Souls shared light. Dreams shared wings. Hope shared strength. Peace shared shelter. joy shared laughter, kindness shared warmth, truth shared clarity, patience shared wisdom, grace shared beauty, humility shared power,